did a mock draft, and I know you kind of said you got a little overboard with the offense. But here, take a look. We showed this earlier. This is why here's your mock draft. What I want to show, though, take a look at the Browns' skill positions. And this is screaming, boy, you better pick a lot of these guys in this draft because that group isn't going to win you many games. And I know Pickett, you're going to add a quarterback. You need a running back. You probably need a stud running back. You probably need a wide receiver, and you definitely need a tight end if you're going to do Kevin Stefanski's offense. So having said that, here's we showed you a little bit of the mock draft. And if Cam Ward is there at 2, I think the Browns have to take him without question. It's a higher upside is why I think it's the distinguishing thing. And then you address running back and tight end. So you get some skilled position guys that can threaten a defense.
Yeah, and like obviously in this mock, I explained in the piece like the Titans stayed put at 1 and they took Travis Hunter, so that allowed Cam Ward to be there. I probably would have taken Shedeur Sanders if they took Cam Ward because I'm sort of convinced at this point they're taking one of them. But regardless, like you get the quarterback address there, and then the way the board sort of fell after that, and I'm gonna be honest, like I know I admitted in the piece that I got a little overzealous when it comes to just addressing the offensive needs. And I definitely think the Browns, like they still have some defensive needs to address. They still got to add to the defensive line, give some supporting cast to Myles Garrett in that way. That's probably the biggest thing they have on defense to address. Safety would be up there as well. But I could also see them just sort of addressing safety internally with guys they already have. So I don't know that that one's as pressing that you would take a player on day 1 or 2. But I'm glad you sort of pulled up the comparison there in terms of like the skill position players because I also sort of used Myles Garrett's comments last week as a guide when I did this because he had those comments about, trusting Andrew Berry's plan to recreate the offense and that the defense was still going to be able to do their thing and how they're going to find a quarterback that they can trust and all those things. I'm paraphrasing, but that was generally what he said. And it just kind of feels like they've already sort of set the tone, whether it's with Myles or otherwise, around the idea that like, yeah, hey, we're going to really go heavy offense and try to fix some of these things. And look what they've done this offseason so far. Yeah, they added like a swing tackle, but a lot of their moves are on the defensive side of the ball. They haven't done a ton. But like, yeah, unless you get Kenny Pickett, but like they've added on the defensive side of the ball mostly. And so I do think like they're sort of already telling you we plan on addressing some of these key needs on offense in the draft. Now, that doesn't mean they'll still use those first 4 picks or some iteration of their first 4 picks, because I did have them trade up a couple times on all offensive players. But in the end, I kind of liked how it felt because I was like, man, I just remade the Browns offense in one draft. But yeah, I'm sure they probably go defense somewhere in there. And, they got to prioritize a couple things on that side of the ball.
Yeah, I would say this, and I know it hasn't always worked out, but Andrew Berry's, the way he's addressed things has made sense. Now, he hasn't always hit on the picks, but
Yeah.
I think when you look at this, he's going offense and he's going skill position early and often.
Yeah, I think so too. You could throw offensive tackle in there. I obviously had the Browns trading back up to get one and Josh Connerly in the first round to get that 5th-year option on his contract. But yeah, I think that's on both sides of the ball. The trenches are, I think, areas where the Browns have needs, but the skill positions, it's obvious. Jerry Jeudy proved, I think, last year he can be a number 1 wide receiver, but he still needs some help. Maybe there's a trade out there to be had. We know Andrew Bear likes to swing trades for wide receivers. And so maybe that allows him to address other skill positions like running back, like tight end, because you got to think about it, like David Njoku, who took a little bit of a step back last year, also in the last year of his deal. So, they got to sort of think about the future at that position. So I think everything I did made sense. It just would be sort of, it would be far-fetched, I think, to think that they only address offense, through those first 4 picks. But maybe, crazier things have happened.
Yeah,